Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Tickets for the Nebraska men's and women's basketball games at the Sanford Pentagon go on sale tomorrow. The Nebraska vs. South Dakota women's game is on November 16th, and on November 17th, the Husker men face St. Mary's. Both games will go on sale on Ticketmaster beginning at 10 a.m. Central tomorrow. In the NFL, Minnesota Vikings first-round pick J.J. McCarthy will miss the entire season after undergoing knee surgery to repair a torn meniscus. The former Michigan quarterback was set to compete for the starting job alongside former USC quarterback Sam Darnold. The Vikings also had an injury to second-year receiver Jordan Addison today, who was carted off from practice with an ankle injury. The injury is not believed to be serious, but he should be missing some time in the preseason. In the MLB, the Royals beat the Twins 4-1, the Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 11-4, the Padres defeated the Pirates 8-2, the Brewers host the Dodgers, and the Braves face the Giants. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich gonna step in back, little G-belly action. There's a man wide open. It's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper, and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over, block back by Becca, and it does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a three on the way. Got it again! Another three! Williams on fire!
Jazz Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer, you betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's at a strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are, Hump Day edition of Sports Alley on the Huskers Radio Network. Folks, you're halfway to another summertime weekend, which we're clicking them off the calendar because after this weekend, only one more free Saturday before we all gather together at Memorial Stadium for the Huskers opener against the Miners from UTEP. Welcome to the program. Tonight, we're delighted that you've chosen to spend a little bit of your Wednesday night. I know there's some storms kind of in and around the Lincoln area, so keep your eye to the sky a little bit for some of that, but we'll keep you entertained while maybe you're dodging some raindrops out there here tonight. Huskers had a practice session today. In fact, they had some company today on the practice field. BTN's campus tour was in town. In fact, they'll play back some of that tonight on BTN. I don't want you to come and pull you away from our show, but they will have their first Husker camp reveal tonight on BTN. Good to see some of those folks. We caught up with Dave Revs, and we'll hear that conversation later on in the week. So Huskers did get after it. No media availability for anybody else after the program today. But, Jess, that's always kind of a fun day, and I think the players probably are aware that there's some cameras and that BTN was there today. I'm sure that probably added a little excitement to the workout today.
Yeah, and actually there's cameras there all the time, right? I mean, they've got the documentary Chasing 3 that comes out periodically. They're used to it by now, but Greg, you actually told a fib. After this Saturday, there are no free Saturdays because we have the red-white scrimmage and then fan day for both volleyball and football on the 24th of August.
You're right. Thank you for correcting me because, yeah, that red-white scrimmage is coming up in about 9 days. John Cook is supposed to be meeting with the media. I don't know that he's even made it there yet. They're running a little bit behind. Imagine that, a coach having a practice run a little long, but we're hoping to bring you some sound from that press conference later on in hour number 2 of the program tonight. Also going to talk some soccer because they kick off their season tomorrow night at Hibner Stadium. They'll take on Oklahoma State, 7 o'clock at Hibner. Thank goodness the Storms are tonight, not tomorrow. We're going to hear from Samy Ha, the Husker goalkeeper, who's back for another year. She's been terrific for Nebraska in net the last couple of years, so we'll hear that conversation. Also, the new president from the University of Nebraska, Dr. Jeffrey Gold, going to make an appearance on Sports Nightly in studio with Jess here in just a couple of minutes. Well, this kind of snuck up on me, Jessica. Maybe you knew this was popping up a couple of days ago, but quietly, Nebraska women's basketball has put their non-conference schedule at Huskers.com. They'll open on Monday, November the 4th. That's that life skills sportsmanship pep rally that they do at noon. They have a lot of young high school, middle school kids that come and go to the game and then watch the game and hear certain messaging from Husker athletes. I know you've been a part of that. That will begin the year November the 4th. That's a Monday against Omaha, so the Mavericks will be in town for that game. And that's fun. I mean, the noise level to the arena goes way up. You get all those young folks in the stands, but it's a really fun event and a great opportunity for some of our athletes to address a big crowd.
The team loves that day, and the atmosphere is electric. It is like you almost need earplugs if you're just sitting in there, and they get involved. They scream the whole time. They love the 3-pointers, but and then prior to the game, they hear messaging from different student athletes. I mean, I think last year it was Nick Henrich and Nash Hutmaker and a couple of the big-time names from Husker football, Husker volleyball. Rebecca Alec was involved last year. And so they all have a different portion that they talk about and talking about good sportsmanship and all of that. So just great messaging. And if I was a kid that grade school age, I'd sign up to do that on a school day, that's for sure. But a great way to kick off the season. I know Amy Williams in the program loves to have that game. They love to have that game, and it certainly provides them with some extra juice with how loud it is inside PBA, that's for sure.
Well, they've upgraded the field trip since I was in grade school. I didn't get to do something cool like that. You're right. That would be a fun thing to do. Some of the other highlights on the schedule, the women are also going to play at the Pentagon up in Sioux Falls. The men have played up there twice. Now the women are going to play up there Saturday the 16th of November. Football's at USC that weekend. So a chance for our friends who live to the north of Lincoln or Omaha, maybe I know there are a lot of Husker fans in South Dakota, a chance to see Amy Williams' squad, and that'll be fun for her. Coach Williams obviously came from South Dakota to take the Nebraska job a few years ago, so she'll face her old team in South Dakota on the 16th in Sioux Falls. Obviously, the game with Creighton will be a big one. That's on the 22nd up in Omaha against the Blue Jays. And then they do have a road trip to Georgia Tech right before Christmas on December the 21st. That'll be their breaking point. They'll scatter and go home for a few days after that. So the schedule stuck out. Those at least, Jess, a couple of the ones that popped at me. A lot of home games. That's great. Get in front of the home crowd. And then with Creighton and Georgia Tech, they'll be tested in those 2 games. Yeah, I like it. I like the schedule. We've talked a lot about this over the last couple of seasons and how challenging it can be when you really tackle a lot of really tough opponents in the non-conference, and then how tough it is to continue to sustain that through the Big Ten. So I think it's a balance. There's some good challenges there, but then also some games that you should win, right, and build some confidence and work out some chemistry, because they do have a lot of returners, but they're also working in several newcomers, and a couple of those freshmen that are absolute stars that I think are going to play big roles, give them a chance to really get their feet underneath them and settle into this college basketball thing, and then just work out that chemistry and then maybe build some confidence before you go into the Big Ten, because look, the Big Ten's a grind with some of those teams that are at the top, but then you add some of those teams that are coming from the West Coast, and they're no easy feat. So the Big Ten Conference only gets more challenging for this women's basketball team. So I like how they've set up this non-conference schedule with a couple of tests and good challenges, but then also, some games that you should absolutely build some confidence, work out some kinks, and then, lots of opportunities to see the Huskers inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. With as good as the league is going to be, I don't think the RPI is even a concern. I mean, and you're right. You put USC, who was terrific a year ago. Oregon's always really good. UCLA has a nice program. That you're going to have a meat grinder going through that. The women are going to stay at 18 conference games this year. The men have been at 20 for a while. I thought maybe the women might go to 20 with the addition of the 4. They didn't. They stayed put at 18. But it's going to be so competitive night in and night out in the league. You don't want to beat yourself up in November. You got to save something for the stretch run of January and February when you're night in and night out, just going to have to grind your way to try to get wins.
Yeah, I mean, and we've had this conversation several times with the men's side of things, and the Big Ten, how tough it is for the men. Well, the women now have that same argument just because it just is going to continue to get tougher and tougher. And then also with the travel, having to go out there to the West Coast. And, this is certainly, as we've heard a lot of the coaches come on here and say, it doesn't affect Nebraska as much as it does, say, Rutgers or the California schools or the West Coast schools. But being in the middle, it's not as tough as a travel schedule, but it's still going to add that travel element too, which is always tough. But, I think, and then you throw in the fact about Allison Widener and getting her back healthy. And,
Right.
she suffered her injury in non-conference play. So, stay healthy, keep everybody healthy, and then work towards building and peaking and playing your best once you hit Big Ten play.
Fred Hoiberg might kick me in the shins if he was sitting here when I say this, but I really believe the women's conference is above the men as far as how difficult it is. I just think there's more depth on the women's side than the men right now. So, and last year the depth only went about 5 or 6 deep, but with the addition of the 4, I think it's going to go 8, 9 this year easily on the women's side.
I think maybe to note on that, maybe the lower tier teams on the women's side aren't as good as the men's lower tier teams, but maybe the women's top tier teams could be a little bit tougher than the men's top tier teams.
Hey, do me a favor. If I'm headed to Paris anytime soon, don't let me get in an Uber. How about that story? Jordan Larson riding an Uber in Paris. They ran into like a pole. She hit her head pretty hard. I think she's got a bruise. Jordan's on her way back. She might even be back in Lincoln now. But my goodness, that's so scary.
Yeah.
You're over there. You're wrapping up the games. You've had a good experience. You get a silver medal in the volleyball competition, and then you're in an Uber car and you get in a wreck. So I'm glad to hear she's okay. I woke up this morning to read that story, and man, that was scary. I hope she's fine. Hope she didn't get a concussion or anything. I'm sure they've checked her all out. But she was going to try to meet with the media today, but either she's not back or they want to give her a little bit of time, and I think that's pretty wise.
Yeah, but I think, just knowing that there's going to be cameras around and seeing her, hey, just so you know, this is what happened. But yeah, that's scary. I've never even heard of anybody getting in an accident in an Uber.
No, it's pretty rare. You're right. It is pretty rare. All right, a big show, including Dr. Jeffrey Gold, coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975, folks. So shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. A real treat for us next. Dr. Jeffrey Gold will join Jessica on the other side of the break.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker Football Spring Game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Shop our exceptional lineup of SUVs at Woodhouse Mazda during the Mazda Find Out event. Right now, receive 0% APR for 36 months on our full lineup of 2024 models. Visit us online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com today. Serving our customers for over 20 years. This is Woodhouse Mazda. With approved credit, tax title license extra when financed with Mazda Financial Services. $299 doc fee due at signing. Excludes MX-5 and MX-R models. Offer expires August 31st, 2024. See dealer for details.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Welcome back into Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and very excited to be joined live here in studio with a very special guest, the new president of the University of Nebraska, Dr. Jeffrey Gold. Thank you so much for being here with us in studio tonight.
Great pleasure, Jessica. Thrilled.
Well, I had a great time chatting with you before the show started. You have a fascinating background, but let's start by letting Husker Nation get to know you a little bit. Tell us, if someone that knows you best were to ask to describe you, how would they describe you?
Well, there are many ways to describe me. Sometimes I describe myself as a recovering cardiac surgeon, if that's an apt description. Spent 25 years of my life doing heart surgery, mostly on little kiddos. But I've done a lot more than that. Prior to that, I attended engineering school at Cornell, med school at Cornell, spent many years training in the Boston area and in New York, and practiced for over 20 years. It was really an amazing journey. I do get asked from time to time what my favorite title is. People ask me whether they want to call me President. Gold, they used to call me Chancellor. Sometimes they'd call me Doctor. I tell them my favorite title is Grandpa, because I have two beautiful twin grandchildren, just turned 8. And everybody else calls me Jeff, and that's absolutely fine, Jessica, for you to do that as well.
I love that. I love that. Well, this is a sports show, right? So tell us some of your backgrounds with sports. What are your favorite teams, the sports that you like to follow?
Sure. I grew up in the inner city of New York, and of course you can't grow up in New York without getting connected to the sports scenes. And one of the most important decisions you make growing up in New York City is to whether you're a Mets or a Yankee fan, because when the Subway Series gets played, you have to have a favorite. And of course, I became a Yankees fan, and for many years I defined the end of the baseball season by when the Red Sox were eliminated. And that only lasted until I moved to Boston with my wife, and I had to rethink that a little bit. And now it's much more of a meritocracy to me and a little bit more egalitarian. But those were great days. But, for many years I had season Rangers tickets. When I was in college, I got really into college hockey. Cornell, of course, had a phenomenal hockey team in those days, and the young lady who I ultimately married and I used to have many dates going to the hockey games. But when I was in Ohio, I had the honor of serving as the head team physician, the honorary head team physician, let's call it, because I never really delivered health care. But it gave me an upfront and personal experience where I would literally stand on the gridiron with the team, and I understood very quickly that you had to pay attention, because those athletes are large and they move fast, and you can't get engulfed in a conversation with somebody. But it really gave me a tremendous experience. Got very involved with women's sports, which I really particularly enjoy, including volleyball and, of course, women's basketball for the athleticism. And then during my time as the chancellor of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, I not only had the pleasure of serving on the board of the National Collegiate Hockey Conference, the NCHC, which I would argue is among the most competitive. You know, in those days I would have said it is the most competitive hockey conference, but also served on the board of the Summit League. I actually chair the board of the Summit League. And I'll tell you, one of the finest experiences I actually had was working with Josh Fenton, who at the time was the commissioner of the National Collegiate Hockey Conference, and we created the hockey bubble here in Omaha. And the idea there was this was, you know, think where we were in the fall of the first year of the COVID pandemic when so many sports were being canceled. And we used the expertise of the University of Nebraska Medical Center and all of our COVID work and things that we had done for the Department of Defense, for the NCAA, for Major League Baseball, for the NBA, et cetera, and we applied it to create a bubble environment for the NCHC to play the entire first half of the season at Baxter Arena. And I am really proud to tell you, Jessica, that not a single student, coach, trainer, anybody got COVID during that interval. It was so well organized. And, you know, again, you know, you might say, you know, having never been a college athlete, you might not know much about intercollegiate athletics, but let me tell you, I care a great deal.
Wow, that's incredible. A lot of fun stories there. John Baylor, our voice of Husker Volleyball, would not like the Boston comment, though, about Boston Red Sox. He's a big Boston Red Sox fan. But being that you have been embedded with the state and you got to see the Volleyball Day in Nebraska now that you're a volleyball fan,
oh, actually,
how was that?
I was in the president's box for that. That was just over the top. And, you know, I've gotten to know John Cook a bit during the months preceding my becoming the 9th president of the university, and I've, you know, spent some time with many of our coaches and certainly with our new athletic director, Troy Dannon, who I think the world of. I spent a good deal of time on numerous occasions with Matt Rule, who I have just a huge amount of respect and confidence in.
Well, people across the state, they'll know your name and face well after leading the Med Center for the past 10 years. I know you're a leader at UNO as well, but your past experience as a physician and a surgeon, how has that prepared you to lead the University of Nebraska?
You know, in many ways, Jessica, and let me just give you a couple of examples. First, one thing you learn when you're the surgeon in the operating room, that while a lot of the responsibility rests on your shoulders, and let's just be very blunt about it, when you're doing children's heart surgery, this is not cosmetic surgery. This is really high-risk stuff. And the result of that surgery is only as good as the strength of the team. Your anesthesiologists, your perfusionists, your nurses, your technicians. It's only as good as the diagnostic skills of your cardiologist. It's only as good as the skills of your critical care doctors who are going to care for that child or that adult after that surgery. And you learn pretty quickly that this is a team sport. But I'll tell you, the other factor that really goes into my thoughts and decision making is when some family would trust their loved one to you. And, you know, think about a new mom with a neonate who needs critically important, life-saving heart surgery. That person, that family wants one and only one thing. And they don't ask you where you went to medical school or where you graduated in your class and what was your grade in calculus or anything like that. They just want to know that you're going to care for that child the same way you would care for your own child. And, you know, having children of my own at the time really gave me a huge perspective on that. And that's how I view the role of the presidency of this great university. When some family entrusts their child to us for their education, we have to make decisions as if this was our child. No different than when a patient goes to the University Medical Center and any number of our clinics or hospitals or ambulatory surgery centers. The rule of thumb is very simple. We care for our patients, we care for our students, we care for our faculty and staff the way we'd care for somebody we really love and care deeply about. You know, it's a very simple rule, but let me tell you, it really changes the world.
What an incredible perspective. Wow. You've been in this role for 2 weeks. We were talking, you've been all over the state. You've put a lot of miles on the car. But what have been your initial impressions? What are some of the things that you're tackling first?
Well, having lived and worked here and been a very proud Nebraskan by choice for over 10 years, I have crossed this state many, many different times. I have spoken before more rotaries and town hall meetings, met more hospital directors, visited every community college, state college, and so much more. But I'll tell you that my recent travels across the state were really different, seeing it through the perspective of the president of this great university. And it just reinforced to me a couple of key concepts. One is that the university is critically important to the state. I cannot tell you how many families came up to me and told me about a loved one who is a graduate and is doing well in their job and set down their roots here and started a family here. I can't tell you how many times our farmers and ranchers came up to me and said, were it not for the research done by our extension offices, or were it not for the clinic that you run in our community, we couldn't be successful in the farming and ranching business of our state. And that was an incredibly powerful message over and over and over again. But the second part of that, just reinforced my 10-year experience, is that what makes Nebraska unique are the people. And I will tell you, the scenery was magnificent. We were out, at Cedar Point, at one of our extension centers. I will never forget, we flew from Ogallala to Valentine, and coming in low over the Niobrara Valley was just incredibly beautiful. Granted, it was hot as blazes that day. It was 104 degrees. But the scenery was just incredible. But at the end of the day, it is the people. It is the open, hardworking, caring people who conveyed to me that we're with you. We want nothing but the best for this great university, and we're going to stand with you to help you in any way we can. And I'll tell you, when I came back, I was just so humbled. It was just amazing.
So how do you go about figuring out what are the things you want to do first in this role?
Well, the most important thing that I get to do now, and I have done for the last several weeks, is listen. When I crisscross the state, I ask the same questions. What could we be doing better? What should we do, less of, more of? And I asked a really interesting, what I thought was an interesting question, that if you had a completely clear slate, what I call a blue sky opportunity, and you could predict what the university would be doing in their community in 2030, what would it be? And we gave people a card that had a website on it, and their responsibility, what I charged them to do, and I can't tell you how many have done it because I haven't seen the numbers, was very simply to write back to me and tell me, what it is that you'd like this great university to be. So I am meeting in large cities, small cities, rural counties, one-on-one, 100-to-1, 500-to-1, and asking those questions and just listening to people to create priorities. And I do understand that if we have 100 priorities or 50 priorities or 25 priorities, we have no priorities. So we have to be very crystal clear as to what we're going to be prioritizing, what we're going to be investing in. But I'll tell you this, we have to invest not only in being competitive, but we have to win. And I know this is a sports show, and so you have to win on the gridiron, and we've got to win on the hardwood. But we have to win in the classroom. We have to win in the research labs. We got to win in every one of our extension offices. And that's very clear to me. To get more granular than that, that's what I need to listen for.
That's great. Well, let's talk about a question that's asked a lot these days. Why college? I know you're the first in your family to go to college. So if someone were to ask you the question, is college worth it? What would be your response to that question?
Oh, there is no doubt by any metric you choose to quote, college is worth it. And, as you said, I am a first-generation college student. Growing up in the inner city of New York, I got a lot of love from my parents, but they were not able to afford to help me go to college. And so through the generosity of scholarship support, work study, and student loans, I was able to go to college and go to medical school as well and have an amazing career. But I'll tell you that every study has shown that the quality of life, the quantity of life, the earning ability, the safety of raising a family, any parameter that you want to look at is enhanced by a college degree. You know, I'll tell you, during the vetting period, I will never forget this. I was out at a town hall meeting in Curtis, Nebraska, at the NCTA facilities. And one of our farmers, gentleman must have been in his 70s, maybe even older than that. I'm not a very good judge of people's age, so if I messed it up, I'm sorry. But he said to me, you know, Jeff, and I asked him all of them to call me Jeff, universities need to teach students how to think, not what to think. And those words have really stuck with me for all of these months, because our job is to build an environment where our students learn how to be what I call critical thinkers, how to answer difficult questions, how to look things up, what trusted sources of information they need to have. It's not our job to teach them what to think, because the questions they're going to be asked and the life decisions that they're going to be asked to make during the course of their career and their family life, all that's going to change. I mean, it's sort of like when I was training in cardiac surgery in Boston, you know, in the Harvard system. I learned the absolute state-of-the-art of the surgical techniques, which medications to use, how to cut and sew, but from some of the greatest cardiac surgeons that ever lived. That's why I chose to train there. But I'll tell you, over my 25 years in the operating room, those procedures changed, and the medications I prescribed changed, and the indications for surgery and the diagnostic skills changed. I mean, today, the overwhelming majority of serious children's heart disease is diagnosed before children are born. They're diagnosed in utero. And so these children can be delivered in centers that are fully capable of dealing with these complex anomalies, as opposed to being born at somewhere in the middle of rural America and have to figure out that there's something seriously wrong with the kiddo and moving on. And so the ability to be a critical judge of new technology, particularly now in the generative AI world, where we're looking at so much change in technology and in thinking, is critically important. And that's our job, and that's my job.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let's wrap things up, talking some more sports. Another sports question, and Husker football kicking things off before you know it. What excites you the most about this upcoming football season?
Well, you know, I've had the opportunity to attend quite a few games in my 10 years here, and there have been a lot of ups and downs. I've known the coaches, the athletic directors, met some of the trainers, et cetera. But the thing that I like is the electric atmosphere in Memorial Stadium. It is absolutely exciting, and I love to be on the field during the tunnel walk. I love to meet the fans and just literally walk through the stadium. And that's what I plan to do. It is, you know, I get to host the President's Box, of course, but you'll see me walking around. You'll see me on the field. I promise you I'm not going to be calling plays and timeouts, and I've got no eligibility left, so there's no chance there either. But you will see me, and I really, really look forward to it.
You going to be at Devaney as well?
You better believe it. I plan to do my best to attend every single one of the sports, at least for one event, if not more. That is my plan. My wife has said, Jeff, you need to do it, and I couldn't agree more. So I'm going to make my very best shot at it. That's great. Your grandkid's going to be coming with you to a few of those? You better believe it.
I love it. Dr. Jeffrey Gold, thank you so much for being here with us. What a fascinating conversation. We're going to hear much more from you. You're going to be joining us on Husker Game Day, on game days as well. So we'll look forward to hearing much more from you coming up here in the next few months.
Look forward to it. Anytime. Just let me know.
All right. Great stuff there. We've got to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. Greg Sharpe back with me coming up right after this.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99 in-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Join the season ticket request list today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for an unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Sports Nightly brought to you by Choices Treatment Center. If you or someone you know is struggling with the problem gambling, free treatment is available in Nebraska. Call Choices 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300 for more information. They have offices in Lincoln and Columbus. Greg Sharpe back with Jessica Coody. Well done. That was an interesting interview. Great to kind of introduce to our audience Dr. Jeffrey Gold. Just one of the most intelligent men I've ever been around, and I think that might have been your first time to talk to him, but he's an enjoyable guy to visit with.
Oh, it was great. And we were talking before the show. He was here early, and then we were chatting in the breaks, and just there are so many things. I could do probably a 2-hour podcast with him, but there's so many cool layers to his story and his background. But I think ultimately, it came across how much he cares and how much he wants to help this place be the best it can be. And I loved his point about, with being a pediatric heart surgeon and you have these families that are entrusting their kids with you. I mean, it's the same mindset that he's going about when he wants to take these kids in that are coming to schools across the NU system, campuses across the state. He wants to take care of those kids. And so, I think he's going to be a great leader and obviously loves his sports too. And we were chatting about that too. He's a big fan of the women's sports and women's basketball and volleyball, and love that he's going to be at every one at least once.
Fantastic. He will be on halftimes. That's been a kind of a staple of the Huskers radio network, is to hear from the president every week. So Jeffrey will be a part of our halftime shows beginning on the 31st with UTEP. And so...
And I know that they have some Sports Nightly appearances scheduled as well. We should, I don't know, maybe take some questions and see and pass them along. And I know that people had a lot of questions for him, so I'm sure he'd be open to answering them. But we might have to figure out a way to maybe submit some questions for Dr. Gold next time he's on.
Yeah, fantastic. So good to hear from him. Hope you all enjoyed listening to him. And that's the leader of the university. And he got named back in March or April and then took over officially July 1st. And we've been trying to find a date that worked to get him on. And one time I think we had him kind of locked in and he wasn't feeling well. And so we pushed it back to tonight. So great to get him on there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing him every week at halftime of the Husker football games. All right, 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. Next hour, we will hear from John Cook. He did finally get to the press room after a practice that went a little bit long. I don't know if that means anything or not, but we'll play some of the clips from that, and we'll talk some Husker soccer in the next hour as well. We mentioned off the top that the women's basketball schedule is posted at Huskers.com. If you want to go pull that up and look at that. I was talking, we have some folks from BTN kind of hanging around today, and they were like, so they didn't put out a press release? I go, no, just kind of silently put it up on Huskers.com, but we did cover that.
We did
here
know
today.
The opponents, though, right? We already knew the opponents.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Knew some of them, yeah. Knew some of them.
Just
but now
more
we have
so
dates
like
to go
the
along
schedule. Are they still trying to work out something with the Creighton matchup with the men's game as well?
Yeah, right now they're both Husker men and women are going to play at Creighton on the same day. So do you do a doubleheader? Do you move the women to Sokol, which doesn't seat nearly as many fans? And I think the last time Nebraska played Creighton up there on the women's side, they played in Sokol. And I would think if I'm Creighton, I want to maximize that game from a revenue standpoint. So I don't know. I think they're still debating what to do. Television partners also will get involved because that's a prime game to be televised, whether it be on FS1, and it's under Creighton control, so it's under Big East control because it's their home game. So I think they're still trying to figure all of that out. But yeah, that'll be a fun matchup, and it always is. Really, that's a great. We hate to admit it around here, but that Creighton women's program is a good program. It is. They're really well run.
Yeah, they are, and they go to the postseason, and it's a competitive matchup for both the men's and women's programs, and for both teams as well. Having that matchup is a good resume notch. It's something that when you're looking at your non-conference, it's almost year in and year out. Well, here's a good opponent that's on the non-conference that year in and year out that you can count on. That's going to be one of those RPI builders, the strength of schedule builders, all of that. So, and especially, because every other year it's played on the road, so that gets more favorability or whatever if you're on the road. So yeah, it's a great matchup, and it's a fun atmosphere when you go to both places. It's packed, it's loud, it's rowdy, and yeah, it's a fun matchup. It is.
Well, and really with all the sports with Creighton, they have a lot of Nebraska natives on their roster. Nebraska does too, as we talked about the other night. And so these players know each other really well. I mean, they grew up maybe playing high school ball or travel ball in whatever sport it is with each other. And now they're enemies with the Nebraska-Creighton rivalry. So it kind of adds a little bit of spice to that as well. Did get a text about, does the athletic department still give money back to the academic side of NU every year? I don't have the answer to that. It had been a yes. We're now in a changing times in college athletics. I think that's being worked on from Troy Dannon and Rodney Bennett, who's the chancellor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So to the texter, I'll check. We had until a year or so ago, but economics has changed, Jessica, with these court rulings that have come out, and now all these student athletes are going to get paid. I think I mentioned the number $22 million the other night. That's going to be what Husker athletes are going to take home in a year from now. So if you're Troy Dannon, you gotta find that somewhere. I mean, you gotta find those dollars someplace. Will that impact the athletic department, which is above and beyond in my eyes, giving money back to the academic side? It's great. It's unbelievable that they've been able to do that for 10 years, but we're kind of in a changing landscape. I don't know if something like that will still exist.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just the current student athletes. They're also back paying a part of the settlement. College athletes. Searles told me that he was, I think, 2 years too old, maybe.
He's too old.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it goes back to maybe 17. He was done in 14.
It might be 6. I think he said 16.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2060. So you're back paying a lot of these athletes that are involved in the lawsuit on top of paying your current student athletes, and that's obviously not for ever the back pay on some of those student athletes, but that is another something that you have to factor in with making sure that you have enough dollars to be able, because I mean it's part of the settlement. It's part of what's coming out. You got to do it, and there's no way around it. You got to pay them. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, going to have to be re-looked at, and not just here, but there's other athletics departments that give back to the university that are probably going to have to rework and re-look at the same situations.
So many athletic departments get money from the academic side. It's part of the budget for the overall university. Russ Brown, our director of ops, and I were talking about this today. Matt, Nebraska is in great shape financially, and that's kudos to our previous athletic directors who have made sure we've been in good shape financially. Imagine these athletic departments that are underwater, and there's a lot of them. How are they going to afford making these payments in a year? I just don't know how it's going to happen in a lot of places. I hope the big dog doesn't want us to set up a GoFundMe thing for him. I think he's okay, right?
I think he will continue to work for Valentino's Pizza. Thanks, Carla. Every time he's in, Carla hooks us up. And yeah, Val's also has sent us a few times for the podcast. I think he'll be all right with that. But that's a bummer for someone like him who just missed out on it by like 2 years.
Yeah, not that he'll ever mention that again.
But yeah, I agree with you, Greg. I don't know. And I think that's been the concern with this the whole time for a lot of these conferences and a lot of the programs, that just there's no way that they're going to be able to keep up. That's where you're going to continue to see the separation. And that's why I think the conversation is still being had about realignment's not done. The college football expansion is not done. Is college football going to break off and be its own? There's still these conversations being had, because I think you're going to continue to see more and more separation, and some of these programs are just not going to be able to keep up. It's just how it is.
And don't kid yourself. There are current Big Ten schools that are really in some financial problems with their athletic department. Again, kudos to all the ADs that Nebraska's had over the last decade plus, that they've positioned this school in really good shape. We should feel good about that. But there's some schools, some not very far away from here, that certainly are kind of pinching pennies everywhere they can. All right, need to take a break. Woodhouse has been your trusted folks auto partner every day since 1975. Go shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back to wrap up Hour 1 next.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. You're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Connor Clark with Campus News. For the 7th straight year, the University of Nebraska system is a top 100 patent-earning institution in the world. NU researchers were granted 46 patents in 2023, ranking the university at number 55 nationally, ahead of Big Ten schools like Michigan State and Penn State.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Matt Moorhead or Joanne Shamanek in Lincoln or Scott Jeffers in McCook today.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Wednesday night. Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you enjoyed Jessica's conversation with Dr. Gold. Great to see him in person. And again, he'll be a part of our halftime shows coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Kelly in Lincoln on our text line said, I believe the back monies is going to be paid by the NCAA, not the individual colleges. I don't know. I don't know that I interpret it that way. Kelly, you might be right.
I found something. It says under the settlement, which still needs to be approved by a judge. So it's still a process. It's not done yet. But the NCAA and the 5 major college sports conferences would pay damages to former and current athletes, as well as allow revenue sharing for athletes in the future. So the NCAA might take the big bulk of it, but I'm pretty sure that the Power 5 conferences, the one with the huge TV revenue shares, have to contribute in some way, is my understanding of it.
I'm with you on that. Again, we probably, and Troy Dannon's got his first show coming up a week from Monday, and I'm sure that will come up in that show with him. And I don't know that he knows all the answers, because I think it's still, like you said, it's still evolving. It's still making it's through the courts to a certain degree, but the lawyers are still in rooms and trying to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. So
because they're still in jeopardy of facing more litigation, so they have to make sure that it's all. I just don't know how they're going to get it all figured out by this time a year from now, because there's so many other questions that they have to answer that's a part of this conversation, so that they aren't continuing to go back to court over and over again, because that's been what it has been. They're trying to avoid that, so they have to make sure that they, like you said, cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
Yeah. A lot of interest in how Mama Coody and Sonny got along.
Well, her flight got delayed last night.
Oh, no. How
from
bad?
Dallas.
Late?
It landed at 12:59. So
oh my
by the time she got off the plane and we got back, it was about 2:15. Sonny was excited, and then she's been really beside herself with excitement all day because Gigi is here.
Fantastic. By the way, I'm doing an event in Kansas City tomorrow. Jess is doing an event for the network here in Lincoln. So, folks, we're going to the bullpen. And there's no better bullpen than Matt Coody, so he'll be hosting the program for us tomorrow night. All right, coming up next hour, John Cook just held a press conference about an hour ago. We'll play you some of the highlights of that, and we'll talk to Samy Ha, the goaltender for Husker soccer. They begin their season in 24 hours. 7 o'clock tomorrow night out at Hibner. The hooligans are getting new T-shirts. The general public, they're going to be passing out some scarves. Should be a fun night at Hibner Stadium.
Do we have a model for those giveaways in studio?
We should. We have a former hooligan on our staff.
I think we have somebody that could show us those giveaways. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, or can describe it if you're listening on the radio. So maybe in the next hour we can talk about that. But yeah, big opener, Oklahoma State, and Samy dives into the preseason and gives us an update on kind of how the expectations have changed. This time a year ago, it was a different conversation as they were heading into the season. So it's a different feel, but it's a big matchup coming up for them. They want to set the tone off right here to kick things off in this season.
Good stuff. Hour 1 done. Hour 2 to come. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Tanya Blaine in Norfolk, Grant Wilbeck in Omaha, or Bud Morrell in Okalala.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Tickets for the Nebraska men's and women's basketball games at the Sanford Pentagon go on sale tomorrow. The Nebraska vs. South Dakota women's game is on November 16th, and on November 17th, the Husker men face St. Mary's. Both games will go on sale on Ticketmaster beginning at 10 a.m. Central. In the NFL, Minnesota Vikings first-round pick J.J. McCarthy will miss the entire season after undergoing knee surgery to repair a torn meniscus. The former Michigan quarterback was set to compete for the starting job alongside former USC quarterback Sam Darnold. The Vikings also had an injury to second-year receiver Jordan Addison, who was carted off from practice today with an ankle injury. The injury is not believed to be serious, but he should be missing some time in the preseason. In the MLB, the Royals beat the Twins 4-1, the Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 11-4, the Padres defeated the Pirates 8-2, the Brewers host the Dodgers, and the Braves face the Giants. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich gonna step in back, little G-belly action as a man wide open. It's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over, block back by Becker, and it does. Becca, Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a three on the way. Got it again! Another three! Williams on fire!
Jazz Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer, you betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's at a strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're back, hour number 2. Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday night. I hope you had a great day today. Huskers did practice today. No media availability. In fact, the next time we'll hear from some of the coaches and players will be after Friday's workout as Nebraska's speeding their way on toward that August 31st opener against UTEP. Now, BTN was in town for their campus tour. In fact, I believe, I don't want to chase anybody away from us, but I believe that's on right now. They'll replay it a handful of times tonight or tomorrow, but you can DVR it, right, and go watch it back later. So, did have a chance to catch up with Dave Revson while he was here, their lead anchor, and we'll play that conversation for you on Friday night's show. Well, John Cook, the Husker volleyball team started practice on the 5th. Today, about an hour and a half ago, he finally met with the media to give us kind of a peek on how practice has been going for the Cornhuskers as they get ready to open the season against Kentucky in Louisville in a couple of weeks. And so John was started off by just being asked about how's the team been taking advantage of all these practices now over the last 9 days.
The way we're trying to take advantage of it is the first inclination for me would go to what we normally do this time of year, which is 2-a-days, 2-a-days, 1, 2-a-days, 2-a-days, 1 off. That's our typical week. Because we have more time this year, I don't feel it necessary to have to do that. So we're focused on, we've only practiced twice one day just because we want to get them used to having to do something in the morning, because we're going to have morning practices on the road when we play back-to-back, or we go somewhere and we have to get up in the morning and practice. So we just want to get them acclimated to that. And so what we're doing is we're on one practice a day, and we're lifting every day that we go one practice. So we're just trying to, and lifting is not going in there and lifting hard. We're just working on taking care of their bodies, activating muscles that get fatigued when they get in patterns and playing a lot of volleyball. So it's almost like they go through a recovery every morning in the weight room with Brian, and then we're getting great effort and high level play in the afternoons, because they're fresh, they're feeling good. And sometimes in 2 days you're struggling to get through those, and they're hitting the wall. So that's how we're taking advantage of it. And I would love to practice twice a day, but I think this is what's best for our team, and I really like it.
I mean, what's the difference between having one long practice or splitting that up into two and 2 different times of the day? You know, I don't know. I feel like 2 a day is a little bit maybe dated practices. I feel like maybe just a little bit. You know, you don't really hear about it as much on the college level, but you know, I think just in terms of taking care of your bodies and making sure you're at your best, and just how things have evolved in that regard, the sports science of it all, which Coach Cook is as involved in and as educated on as any coach there is. You know, just knowing what works best for athletes and how you can get the most out of them. I'm sure he's studied that and knows that that's what's best for this team.
Wouldn't you think mentally that would be the biggest hurdle with 2 days? Because you get through with one and you're like, okay, got to come back here and do it again in 4 hours. I would think this is probably keeping them, as he said, fresher, because they're not mentally fatigued, worried about, my gosh, I got to do it all over again in 4 hours. And so then you get, as he said, higher level practices when you only go once a day. But
well, and then just the competitiveness of this group, how hard, how incredibly challenging their practices are because of the amount of talent in that gym. It's just exhausting. I can only imagine having to do that, and then because they're competing for their time and they're fighting to be able to be out there, and so you have to get yourself up for that, and then you complete one practice, and then all day you're thinking about how am I going to get myself up to do it again and be at my best again to try to earn that. I feel like that would be exhausting and maybe just contradict itself a little bit.
I agree, and you're right about John. I mean, he's always looking for that little edge, and he certainly is not afraid to use NAPL, which is the performance lab that sits, their offices are right above our studio there in East Stadium. He does that. He's always involved in nutrition for his team and all those different things. I even love the fact, and he went to this 7-8 years ago, about breaking them away from the gym in the winter and going to beach and letting them play beach, which is a totally different kind of mindset, but it takes the pounding away from their legs of being on the wood or the hardwood or whatever the Plexiflex or whatever the name of that court is that they use. I mean, I'm shocked more programs don't just do beach to break up the monotony of a long year.
Yeah, and it's been good. And you hear the athletes, they love it. They have so much fun with it. And Jalen Reyes, when he came in here and really talked about it, because, you know, on the dig, I am not afraid to ask what might be elementary questions in terms of volleyball, because it is a sport that I'm still absolutely learning about, because I did not play it, and it was not as big in Oklahoma as it is here in Nebraska. But I just, you know, what's the benefits? And he says it helps develop the overall player. So if because there's only 2 people out there on the court, there are aspects of the game that you have to get better at in beach that you can hide behind a little bit in indoor volleyball. So it allows for a more complete player to be developed. And then, as you mentioned, you know, being on sand is a great workout. It's easier on the bodies, and they love to do it. They take fun trips. It helps build the culture. A lot of it is built. This team, this camaraderie. You know, you hear Coach Cook talking about rebuilding that culture. A lot of it happens during that time, and they get to go to Hawaii and they do different things, team bonding things. And so it's a really, really important time for this program. Absolutely. And it is one of those innovative things by Coach Cook that has paid dividends for this program.
Jess, you can't hide in beach. You can't hide. It's just you and a partner. You got to pass basically every point. You've got to pass the ball to your teammates or set them up or do that type of thing. What's the name of that beach in Honolulu? I think Jalen Reyes kind of grew up on that beach playing volleyball all the time. But I'm drawing a blank. Somebody will know what it is, but that's where they hold the tournaments, on this certain beach right there in the middle of Honolulu, and it's a great thing to do. Well, I think she's a silent assassin. I'm talking about Bergen Riley, the great setter for Nebraska. What a freshman year she had. The pressure of coming in here as a true freshman. She was phenomenal all year long for this team. How has she reacted? How is she commanding the gym now into her sophomore year? Here's the coach.
Yeah, I would say, again, she's in her second year, so she's just way more calm, composed, knows what she needs to do. The thing about Bergen is when she makes a mistake, she just tells you before you even say anything. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's almost like a golfer. They're telling you in the swing, oh, I didn't do that right. You know, that's where she's at. That's really in tune with what she needs to do, and we're trying to open things up for her and let her be a little more free-flowing, and I think she's really good at that.
I love Bergen's demeanor, and so many of the players that I've talked to and asked about Bergen, they have talked about her calmness. I mean, she's so calming, and to have that out of a setter, nothing rattles her. She's going to be the same person, you know. And we saw Nicklin Hames, and it was fun to watch her, how fiery she was. But with Bergen, she's just so even keeled. She's never going to get too high, too low. And you know, it's just you rely on that, and you depend on that, and it just is a steadying presence, I think, for this team and her hitters and anybody that plays with her. You know, she's so good and so talented. I've, you know, had a few conversations since then with Kelly Hunter and Lauren Cook-West about what are the areas that she can be better at. Are there areas? And one of the things that they've talked about is she needs to be more of a leader, because the setter's a little bit like the quarterback, and that it is a natural leadership position, just being more vocal, being more of a leader for this team, which is a lot to ask of a sophomore, but she is the sweetest person. The silent assassin is a great analogy on her, because if you talk to her, she is just the kindest, most genuine, sweetest person. But you look down or you don't take a note of her, she will quickly get things out of hand for a team. Just the way that she manages things, and her dump is deadly. The center dump, when she's on the front row, she will compete and fight for those balls when it's you're a joust at the net. How many times do we see her win those? You know, so yeah, there's so many things that she does so well. I'm glad she's a Husker.
How about this for a comparison? Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Just that even keel. You don't know if he hit a good shot or a bad shot. You don't know if he's coming off a good hole or a bad hole. She's kind of that way, too. She doesn't let anything kind of leak out. Crypto, thank you. Queens Beach. That's what I was looking for. That's what they play those tournaments on, Queens Beach.
A lot of people said Waikiki.
Well, they're kind of the same, but Queens Beach is the name of the thing that they play in. And Jalen Reyes always talks about Queens Beach. So, Crypto, there you go. I'll send you a prize.
You need to start calling Jalen Uncle. Remember that? Because Dylan Raiola calls him Uncle. So when you see Jalen around, call him Uncle. He loves that.
Coach was at, yeah, he would love that. Coach was asked, how's the rebuilding of the culture with the new faces on the team, and are there going to be any new traditions that come out of this season?
Yeah, so we got the chains hanging. I don't know if you saw them, but the chains are hanging out there. So that's a big theme. One of our other themes is we gave them a necklace that Kelly and Lindsay had made that have some of our key terms on it. So like we feel with each other for each other. So each player each week, Taylor has it right now, and next Monday she'll give it to another player just as a reminder. Another thing is this is the 50-year anniversary of Nebraska volleyball. This is the 50th team. So we're doing a lot of stuff with our alumni, and our players are doing presentations about the alumni that they talk to and what they learn from them, and it's blown me away how good these things are. They're PowerPoints, and it's blew me away.
I love that. And again, this coaching staff, Coach Cook, his assistants, Kelly Hunter, always trying to find those little things that can continue to set this program apart and motivate in a way that they hadn't done before, and just tailoring to each. I think that's where you talk about evolvement and growth of a program. Yes, are there certain things that you do every year? You know, a lot of people texted in when we were talking about rebuilding the culture, which is what Coach Cook used and the players have used. Yes, the culture and the foundation and the history and the legacy is there, but each team is different. And Coach Cook is so aware of that, and that's how I think how he's evolved. One of the ways that he's evolved the biggest is just understanding that each team is wired differently, and what can we do to really relate and make it really relevant for each individual team and players. And so, you know, I love all the creative ways that they do that and finding that way to continue to rebuild the culture and do what each individual team needs to be the most successful.
I'm glad that question got asked. That was a fascinating answer. I loved hearing that type of thing. And again, it goes. Lindsey Peterson's involved in this too. Don't discount the impact she has on this program year in and year out as well. All right, Camden, I'm going to skip cut 8. Let's go to 10 next. I mentioned in hour 1, Jordan Larson got in a wreck in Paris and riding in an Uber, ran into a pole. She's okay, but Coach Cook was asked, is she back in town yet? Here was his response.
Jordan just got back today. She's a little banged up. She had a crazy Uber driver in France. So, but I don't know. It was like, I don't know. It was just, the feeling seeing her walk in today was, I don't know, it was very uplifting.
Did she bring her medal with her?
She did not today, or at least I haven't seen it. I mean, she just literally got here right when we met at 1:30. And she, you know, she was, she must have got back yesterday and is here today. She wanted to take a few days off, and then I told her she wanted to take like 2 weeks off. I said, Jordan, when I was coaching in the Olympics in Barcelona, I flew from Barcelona and had tryouts at Wisconsin the next day. So why do you think you need 2 weeks off? She goes, okay. She was here.
Oh, that's great. They were asking, I think, if she had the medal, but when he talks about her being uplifting when she walks in the gym, I bet he's not the only one that felt that, because how many times have I sat here and in this chair and a Husker volleyball player sat in that chair and have said how much they are inspired by Jordan Larson, and to have somebody that literally just walked off that Olympic stage, 72 hours ago, and then walk into the gym. I got to imagine, I mean, it is just something else to be for those players that look up to her, are inspired by her. And, you know, I think she is just so good about teaching and understanding some of the little nuances with some of these players. So, yeah, I can only imagine how the players felt as well when she walked in the gym.
Coach Cook is ruthless. Jet lag. Coach, give her a little time to sleep in for a day or two.
No time off. No rest for the weary. None. Get back to work.
That's fantastic. All right, there's some of the highlights of Coach Cook's press conference from earlier today. Again, our first volleyball show slated for a week from tomorrow with the Johns. John Bader, John Cook. Looking forward to those coming your way on Thursday nights throughout the season. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk some soccer. Huskers to kick off the season tomorrow night at this time against Oklahoma State. We'll hear from goalie Samy Ha. It's coming up next.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian Automotive Vehicles in Operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Discover a better car buying experience at Woodhouse Nissan. With 2 convenient locations in Bellevue and Omaha off 144th and Giles Road, Woodhouse Nissan is your destination for your next sedan or SUV. Lease the 2024 Nissan Rogue SV Premium for just $399 with $0 down. 36 months, 5,000 miles per year. With approved credit, tax, title, license, extra. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Discounted price based on a sale price of $34,846. VIN number RC709841. Offer expires August 31st, 2024. See dealer for details.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game. Thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Wednesday night on the Sports Huskers Radio Network. Tomorrow night, Husker soccer begins their season. Oklahoma State will be in town. Hibner Field, 7:05 is when they'll kick things off. Returning, a lot of names returning for this Nebraska soccer team that was co-champions of the Big Ten a year ago, made it to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament, including goalkeeper Samy Ha. Samy caught up with our Jessica Coody earlier this week.
I could not think of a better guest to kick off this season of Husker Women's Wednesday than today's guest, Samantha Hauk of Nebraska Soccer, senior goalie for the Huskers, and also a former intern right here at the Huskers Radio Network. Thanks so much for joining us, and how does it feel to be back in the studio?
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's sweet to see your face and just be around everyone.
Love to have you back. Well, big season ahead for Nebraska soccer. Huskers ranked 6th in the country going into this season, coming off a magical season a year ago in which they won the Big Ten and the Elite Eight. I know you guys are focused on this season, but let's circle back and just go back into this time a year ago. What were some of the things that you guys had done to set yourself up for the season that you were able to have last year?
Yeah, I think definitely we just focused on our strength on and off the field, strength mentally, strength physically, just conditioning. And in the weight room, we've just been, we had that saying last year of kill or be killed. So either we're getting killed or we're the ones killing others. So not seriously, but no, it's been sweet. We definitely changed the mentality, I think, across the board. started to realize that we were becoming something, and we were becoming known more and more as the season went on, and we just realized, okay, this is actually like starting to come true, and the things that we had been working on so hard, like our conditioning was going through the roof. No one was stopping us. I mean, you get to the Elite Eight and Stanford's cramping and our team is still going, which was like incredible to see, and just how like that kind of hard work really paid off.
So then you guys, first of all, win the Big Ten championship, the regular season co-Big Ten champs. How special was that? I know you got your rings, and the intro video for this season, you guys are all sporting the rings, and it would just, again, I can't imagine, like you said, fulfilling a goal, but how special was that when you guys are Big Ten champs?
Yeah. I think I kind of forgot and blanked immediately when we found out. It was funny because we were playing, I think it was Illinois. I honestly don't remember who we were playing. We just knew we had to win, and I think it was Northwestern and I think
it's Penn State.
I
don't know.
Yeah,
but
they had to tie or lose.
Right.
And or it might have been a loss. It was crazy because our coaches, like, we were playing at the exact same time as that team, so we were just waiting to hear like the final, and obviously they weren't going to tell us during the game, and so the whistle blew and we won like 5-1, I think is what it was. And we're like all looking around, and my coach like puts his hands up, and of course we were freaking out and going crazy because what a moment. Like, you can't get anything like close to that. We went from not even being ranked to obviously like winning the Big Ten and then going to the Elite Eight. It was so sweet and so fulfilling, and just, yeah, now we're just looking to do it again.
How did it feel when you guys get your rings? I mean, they're massive. They're beautiful, but they're massive
awesome.
Jewelry.
They did so good. It was so fun. It was such a fun day because we had that, and then we got to go to the spring game and like show them and actually wear them out. It was crazy. I was like getting blisters in my hands because it was so big, and like I was not obviously used to something like that massive being on my ring finger. So it was cool. It was really fun and something so surreal.
So when you guys make it to the NCAA tournament, and again, this is a team that just narrowly missed out the year before. I think you were the first four out, or the last four group that didn't make it into the field. And you put together that run. What went into that for you guys that allowed for you guys to go on such a special run all the way to the Elite Eight?
Yeah, I think it was the fact that we were underdogs, that no one knew about us. And so every single game, it was like, it's Nebraska, like, who are they, kind of situation. And now it's not. It's a little bit different. But yeah, I think it was just because every single game we went into, it was like, this is the biggest game of our career right now. Like, taking in every single moment and knowing that the game that we're playing right now is what we need to focus on, and just pushing forward and pushing hard and making sure that we're giving it our all. And yeah, just collectively, we were just on it every single game.
So being that so many people returned from that team and that are coming back to this season, what were some of the things you guys took away that you can do that again and then even build off of that, maybe even go even further in the tournament?
Yeah, I think we have been working a lot with like our defending. I think we had some mistakes out of the back that we're hoping to clean up. Obviously we lost Eleanor, but we're working with the forwards, and just, yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of girls step up. I think Sarah and Abby are just going to be huge this year. I think they're going to find the net a lot as opportunities like come. I definitely see just like across the board, we have even players coming in. It doesn't even look like the game changed because they're just as strong. So, yeah, we've had a lot of newcomers come in and step up to the plate, and they've been a huge help, and it's slowly coming along, and yeah, I can't wait to see how this season goes.
Has it been motivating in a different sense in that, the last year the motivation was that you didn't make the tournament and you wanted to be better and you knew that you were better and there wasn't as much of a target on the back, but now that you have that taste of that, does it motivate you in a different way to want to achieve it again?
Yeah, for sure. I want another ring, that's for sure. But we do set goals at the beginning of the year, and it's like, we try to be realistic about these things, and obviously, like, win the Big Ten again is one of ours, and now we are like, let's go win the NCAA tournament, like, we might be ranked 6th, I think, in the preseason poll, but I think we, like, can speak for so much more with our, like, efforts on the field. So, yeah, I think there's there's so much that's going into it right now, and it's slowly coming together. The 2 days has been crazy. We finally just got out of that, and that's been I'm very, very thankful. We're out of 2 days. I can't lie. That was exhausting, but it's all worth it when we start winning and start putting numbers up on the board.
Yeah. How do you guys manage those changed expectations of now, okay, there's a 6 next to Nebraska going into this season, and you are probably going to get everybody's best. When you play a ranked opponent, it's just natural, hey, let's show that we can knock this team off. So how do you guys go into this managing those kinds of expectations?
Yeah, it's crazy because we used to be the team that would look at everyone and say, oh my gosh, we're playing this team, they're ranked, yada, yada, like this is a huge game. So it's definitely a different mindset. So going into all these games, we're really trying to just make sure that we know that it's just as big of a game as it would be for us as it is for them. So definitely like honing in on each of our like mindsets and just knowing that every single game is a new day to perform as best as possible. And if we can do so, then we know that that we can come out with, just consistent wins.
So for you personally, and going into this, what, year number 3 as a starter for the Huskers, right? 3? This is 3 or 4 for you? Starting for the Huskers.
This is 4. I'm a 5th year. It's crazy.
Okay, so I remember first talking to you. That was in the 2021 season. So I was like, yeah. So you've been a longtime starter for this team. What were some of your goals going into your final season with the Huskers?
Absolutely. I think it's just like make sure that I am doing the best that I can, that I'm peaking at my time at Nebraska, not only just for the sake of this year, but my future and hopefully like pursuing soccer after college. So yeah, I've been focusing a lot on a lot of different things. I actually had surgery in March on my plantar fascia, super crazy, but was able to get back for summer, and I was going crazy, just working on a bunch of different things. I think a lot of the things that I worked on was just corners and making saves. Obviously, I could go into depth, but I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need to describe. But yeah, just honing in on the different little aspects that come down to it.
So, every year you go into it and hey, I've got it next year, but now this is it for you. Are you approaching it a different way? Are you trying to make sure you're cherishing the little things, the little moments, or how do you, does it change, I guess, going into this season for you?
This sounds crazy, but yes and no. Sometimes I think it really hasn't settled in, but then I'm like, wow, this is really like my last first. But yeah, I think for sure it's my mindset. I'm a lot more confident now than I think I have been in past years. Just like, in a way, saying like to myself, like, I don't care what everyone else thinks, and just worrying about my game, playing my game each and every day as best as possible, knowing that I've given it my all. So I think that's it's always been something that I tell myself, but truly believing it can tend to be very hard. So yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of that.
So, I remember talking to you. You were, had just transferred here. You were new here, and actually you were injured at the time. But you think about then and when you first got here, and then fast forward to now, and what other areas do you feel like you've grown as a player, as a person, as an athlete, all around?
Oh yeah. I mean, we could go into faith. We could go every single aspect. I think Nebraska has allowed me to grow literally off the field, in the classroom, in every single way, as they truly say. My coaches are just a blessing. They have been so sweet and generous and just gracious in so many different ways. My teammates are just a bunch of God-fearing women, and it's so amazing to be around, and just being inspired by each other and how hard each person works on and off the field has been just some of the littlest ways that I've been able to grow.
I love that. So, one of the things that people took note of last year, Eleanor Dale, what a season. I mean, record-breaking. We could go on and on, the list of accolades that she was able to rack up, but leads the nation in goals scored. We know about Sarah Weber, but give us some of the other names that are going to help fill that void that Eleanor Dale had a year ago.
Absolutely. Eleanor, I miss her. She's so awesome. She's doing great. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously we have Sarah, we have Abby Schwartz. I would say Kayla Carpenter has been stepping it up. Ella Rudney, she's got a shot on her leg. She's good. I think Reese Snowden, we call her Prez. It's so funny because President Snow, so we call her Prez. And yeah, I think Flo is going to be a name that's going to start.
Florence Belzil.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, I think she'll find the net for sure. Gracie, I forgot her last name. She's a transfer, but she's been working so hard. She's a 5th-year transfer, and yeah, I think definitely those few have been just working so hard up top, and it's been sweet to see like the transition and just how hard they're working and their work ethic.
Do you see it more so maybe being by committee? I mean, look, Sarah's going to get hers, but like everybody else, you feel like it might be by committee as opposed to just 28 goals in a season?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's going to be more collective. I would say for Eleanor, she was always in the right spot. We always knew she was going to be there. Whereas now I feel like there's going to be more opportunity for people all the way around the box, if that makes sense. Just like we're working on like everyone's timing coming into the box exactly at the right time versus having one person there or something like that. But yeah, no, I think it's collectively going to be significantly different.
Okay, so going into the home opener coming up Thursday night, 7:05 out at Hibner, we saw again record-breaking crowds a year ago. The season tickets, I believe, are already sold out. I mean, that kind of support that you saw continue to grow throughout the season last year, what did that mean to you guys as a group, as a program, to know that you guys are going to have that support night in and night out?
Yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, we love home games. We, in my opinion, we play best at home, but I'm going to knock on wood for that one. But we just love having the crowd. It makes us work so much harder. Just being able to hear like the little girls, just knowing we used to be those girls. It makes it so fun and so sweet and special every single night that we're out at Hibner. But yeah, no, it's crazy. The 100 extra season tickets, how fun. Good for those people to get the back seats. But yeah, I would say it's just been more surreal just to see how much we've, as a team, have been able to grow the fan base in Husker Nation for soccer.
You know, there's a lot of Nebraska kids that grew up playing Nebraska, but, you know, and so they're going to have the support. But for you personally, you're not from Nebraska, to have those little girls that want your autograph, that want to meet with you after the game. What does that mean to you? How special is that after each game?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I think most of my team is from Lincoln or Omaha. And it's always like, oh, where are you from? I'm from Texas. It's a little bit different from everyone else. But no, it's sweet because I think as I've played here longer, I've obviously become a little more known, so that's made it a little better, but yeah, it's a little different than being a cornbread baby.
Yeah. Okay, you've got some sweet goalie outfits already. We've seen in the intro video. Awesome. How much are you liking the threads going into this year?
Let me tell you, the blue and white one was all of my doing. I'm not going to take credit, but I did ask for the like baby blue. It was crazy because we get to like pick out all of like the goalkeeper uniforms each year, and it's really fun. It's so fun to like pick out all these different things and colors. So yeah, they're sweet. They're super cool. The blue has been my favorite so far. So
you got some more coming this year.
Yes, we typically always have an all black, and then I think it's like a blue and orange, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and I think our actual team is getting all black, which would be cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into the home opener, you guys got 2 back-to-back at home. So not only Thursday night against Oklahoma State, but you also have Colorado State at home on Sunday, 1:05. It's dollar day, by the way, so dollar tickets to get in for admission there on Sunday afternoon. But this weekend, to open things up, how important is it to set the tone? What goes into that for this team?
Absolutely. This week has been obviously very specific, as in the things that we need to fix based off of our exhibition games. We know that this is the start of the season. This is what's going to make us or break us. You know, these games actually count, and they're not your little exhibition games. So definitely make sure that we're just being smart on and off the field. We're eating right, making sure we're hydrated and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I think it's been a good week. It's sometimes a little stressful making sure that we're exactly ready to go each and every day, because it can tend to be tiring. But yeah, I think the support with everyone has been really good so far.
All right, well, best of luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you guys back out at Hibner, and best of luck this season as well, as you guys hopefully build on what you guys did a year ago. And thanks for coming back into the Huskers Radio Network studio.
It's been so fun.
Again, that is Samantha Hauk, the goalie for Nebraska soccer, the 6th-ranked team in the country heading into this soccer season. They'll kick things off 7:05 out at Hibner on Thursday night against Oklahoma State. Always love seeing Samy back in the studio. She was an intern for us for a year, and so great to have her back in studio. We got to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. Love having Samy here inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, Midwest Premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Husker fans, get ready for another thrilling season at Hibner Stadium with the reigning Big Ten champion Nebraska soccer team. Season tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to support the Huskers as they go head-to-head with some of the top teams in the country, including Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Duke. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Elevate your drive with Woodhouse Buick. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Plus, with our current offers going on now, you'll save even more. Save up to $3,149 off MSRP on the 2024 Buick Encore GX Sport Touring all-wheel drive. With approved credit, must finance with GM Financial. Must have 2010 or newer trade-in to qualify. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 9/3/2024. See dealer for details.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in every day since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Wednesday night show. Great interview with Samy. Good to catch up with her. Using her COVID year this year to come back, and she's been so solid in net the last couple of years. And what an advantage for John Walker to know you've got an experienced goalkeeper to start a year. I'm sure he's really delighted she decided to come back for one more go. Has she graduated yet?
I don't think so. I don't know. No? She has not. No, she's, I think, finishing up this year. But
okay,
yeah, I should have asked her about that. We were too busy talking about soccer and how they're going to replace Eleanor Dale. I did find that fascinating, though, about just Eleanor was. They knew where she was going to be. She was going to be in the right spot. But we were also chatting a little bit after the interview and talking about, and a lot of the players said this throughout last season when I talked to them, that a lot of the reason why Eleanor was able to have the season she had is because so many people keyed in on Sarah Weber. And they said that they were basically at OU through a junk defense at Sarah Weber. So I think they're probably going to have a lot of teams trying to take Sarah Weber out of it, and that's where, hey, it opens up opportunities for some other people to get in the net. So I might see a lot of Huskers contributing on that front.
Yeah, can't wait. 7 o'clock tomorrow at Oklahoma State, and they're giving away T-shirts for the students, the Husker Hooligans, who is the student cheering section at Husker Soccer. Camden has been a member in the past. He was begging you the other day to get a T-shirt, and I guess he has one of the new ones now, right? Or, Camden, I think it's time for you to make an appearance tonight and kind of show off what is going to be passed out to the students tomorrow night.
Shout out Husker marketing crew for getting Camden a sneak preview, by the way. Because since he's going to be here, they let him take one early, so he's got it to show us for the people watching on YouTube. Okay, tell us about what you got.
You may need to talk, Camden, so that the camera picks you up a little bit.
That's true.
Say a few words and how proud of a member of the Hooligans you are.
Yeah, I mean, the Hooligans is just a great experience, especially with how good the team was last year. Why wouldn't you go watch and support them? But Jess came through. She came through with the shirt, which...
Yeah.
That's what that looks like for the people on the stream. For those listening, it says Husker Hooligans, Husker in red block lettering, and then the Hooligans is kind of like, I don't know how you describe that, kind of like street arty maybe. Like the Hooligans are kind of like the letters are sideways on some of them, and then there's unique kind of design behind it. And then as for what everyone else can get tomorrow, they are giving away scarves, which Jess was making kind of fun of yesterday.
He scolded me during the break.
Scarves are a big thing.
The scarf, yeah.
It's kind of like part of the wardrobe. I guess you could say kind of like a hat for baseball or something.
Okay. Didn't know.
I'll hold that up.
It's double-sided. It's like reversible.
It's pretty cool looking. Yeah, hey, hold on. Keep that up. Hang that thing up here a little bit longer.
Yeah, you got to talk so it switches over to you.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It says Nebraska soccer on one side in red, and then the other side, I think, just says Huskers again. Huskers all over it.
It's upside down. You are not a very good model.
That's right. Well, it covers up the microphone, so I'm like I have to talk to. So it's kind of different, but that's okay.
And you can see by the scarf. Thank you, Camden. Well done. Needs a little polish, but that was your first crack at being a model, probably your last. To Emeritus, shout out to them for helping support to do that. Emeritus is a big supporter of Husker women's athletics, and they were to make those scarves possible. So well done. Duke says break time. I don't argue with Duke. He's back. We love having him in the studio. We'll take our break and wrap the show up next.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is building the first federal research center for climate-smart precision ag at UNL's Innovation Campus. News of the $160 million USDA facility comes as Nebraska prepares to build the new N-Farms platform near Meade, which will be among the largest precision ag research sites for universities across the nation.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian automotive vehicles in operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more Akrs solutions for every field. Again, big round of applause for Conway for modeling the scarf and holding up the T-shirt for us.
He has the hair for the modeling gig, you know. We've heard some people say that.
Carla on the text line said, "Hey, Camden, good job. Remember, Vanna White had to start out somewhere, too, once upon a time." Well, there you go.
He says appreciate it.
Who would have thought we'd have had a Vanna White reference on the program tonight, right?
You never
that did
know
not
what
show
we're
up on
gonna
my
get on
pre-show
this.
bingo card.
We should start that. I don't know. You never know what's going to come up on this show.
It's what makes it fun, folks. Live radio. Not sure what's going to come out of anybody's mouth. All right, tomorrow night, Jessica's got a network event. We've got some sponsors that'll be at the stadium doing some things. She'll be handling that for us. I've got an event, a speaking thing in Kansas City tomorrow. So Matt Coatney will be here tomorrow night. Boy, he's going to have some fun. Tommy Armstrong, who's going to be one of our Big Red reaction hosts, is going to stop by and talk to Coat. They'll talk about the season. They got a lot of things they can cover with that. Also, Jess, you had a chance to catch up with the producer for this volleyball documentary that comes out. Is it next week? It's coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I think August 24th, I believe. So a week from Sunday. The volleyball team is actually having like a premiere watch party tomorrow night. But it's Jennifer Carson. She is the E60 producer, and they followed the team around for a year. And it's a different kind of perspective than some of the other documentaries that you've seen on this volleyball team. Some of them maybe focus on Volleyball Day in Nebraska. This started after that and followed along throughout the NCAA tournament run. And then they were there in the spring. They were on the bus when they went to Kearney. And so we dove into all that. And it was really cool to hear her perspective, an outsider coming in. And this is someone that travels a lot around the country and talks to a lot of different big-time coaches and is embedded with certain programs and also played D1 sports. So to get her perspective on what makes this program so successful was really fascinating. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that conversation.
Isn't that amazing? They were embedded with that team all year long. That's incredible. I mean, what a nice nod to the program to have the power to be able to do that. Well, enjoy yourself tomorrow night. Folks, we'll be back. Both of us will be back with you on Friday night show. Thanks to Conway. Great to have Duke back in the studio. Get him off that summer break. You all have a great night tonight. Be kind to Matt Coatney tomorrow night. Good night,
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you.